from pride and arrogance, and from every evil way. Defend our liberties and fashion into one united people the multitude brought here out of many nations and tongues. Endow with the spirit of wisdom those to whom in your name we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace at home, and that though through obedience to your law may we show forth your praise among the nations here on earth. In times of prosperity, fill our hearts with thankfulness, and in the day of trouble, do not allow our trust in you to fail. In your name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Allison.
Here.
Mr. Mackey.
Here.
Mr. Pelisi.
Here.
Mr. Bider.
Here.
Ms. Neely. Absent. Mrs. Katz.
Here.
Mr. Yoder.
Here, we have a quorum of 6. I'm going to announce here quick before we continue on, we're going to be having an executive session following the meeting regarding personnel matters. Item 3, approval of city council meeting minutes dated June 23rd, 2022. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Is there any questions, comments, or any discussion related to the minutes? See none, Mrs. Frank on the motion, please.
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes.
Mr. Yoder.
Yes. Motion passes.
Oh, Mrs. Katz.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Item 4, limited courtesy before we had no requests tonight. We're going to jump down to items 10 through 13. I think we have a few people here from the public to support these this evening. We'll get them first. Item 10 is a certificate of appropriateness for 427 West 3rd Street. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Mr. Nard, meeting, sir.
Good evening, President Yoder, members of council. What we present to you tonight is a request from 427 West 3rd Street for a certificate of appropriateness. What they are requesting to do is to put a metal facade on part of the building. The building sits within the central business district. If you recall, 2 weeks ago, you did vote on a positive recommendation, provided there was a couple of conditions. The condition was that planning had an opportunity to review that. This past Monday, planning did review it. You have a copy of their comments. The 2 comments or 2 conditions that they have on approval is the fact that one, they would see what the facade actually looked like as far as an example, as well as they want a percentage breakdown within the CBD. How that works within the central business district, the requirement is that the majority of the material for the outside of the building cannot be made up of metal within the central business district. Because they are requesting metal on the outside of the building, so at that point, they brought it before planning reviewed it. You do have drawings in front of you, you do have calculations. As you can see, the calculation will be less than the primary. Primary material is approximately about 27.7%. So it does meet the criteria within the central business district to introduce a certificate of appropriateness for.
Thank you, Mr. Nard. Any comments or questions from members of council on this? It looks like, it looks like they've addressed the comments from county planning, so
City plan.
city, sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, with both the material and the percentage, it looks like they're compliant within the ordinance. So. Comments or questions? All right. Here you see now this final motion, please.
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes.
Mrs. Katz.
Yes.
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. We item 11 is a certificate of appropriateness for 144 West 3rd Street. Is there a motion and second?
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. Mr. Nard.
That's what we bring before you is a request for 144 West 4th Street. It is also located in the central business district. What they're requesting to do is paint the outside of the building with 2 colors, clear sage and net gray trim with black trim. They actually did have it for River Downtown. You can see it's the first part that's already completed, and some of the trim has been placed on this. This was reviewed by planning and passed with a positive recommendation. It does meet downtown design standards as far as neutral colors, things of that nature. At this point, I can answer any questions.
Mr. Nara, are there any comments or questions from members of council on this item? All right. Hearing seeing none, Mrs. Frank on the motion for item 11.
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes.
Mrs. Katz.
yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. We'll move to item 12, certificate of appropriateness for 430 William Street. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Nara.
Yes, what you have again is within the central business district, a request for certificate of appropriateness of property is 430 William Street. What they're requesting to do is have decals placed on the windows, as well as they are looking at having a sign that's mounted on the side of the building. What you have before you on a couple of pages, the first page shows the outside of the building on one of your drawings. The second one shows exactly approximately what the sign is going to look like. It will have the big letters Ross and Rockwell and just the address of the building. That's the only thing that will be on there. I did show you the current pictures of what's currently there, so you can get an idea. That's primarily what they are looking at doing. The last sheet that you have, and again, it'll be like a crimson or a red sign that's placed there. It'll be the same size of the one that's currently there. And then as far as the window trim you have before you, it will be primarily of a gold color and a red crimson, as well as along with some black that will be mounted on the windows, just as you see from the first page. It actually shows all of those pictures. It will meet all the criteria as far as the size within zoning and everything, but because it does require central business district, it's brought into it.
Thank you, Mr. Nara. Are there any comments or questions from Mr. Allison?
I have a question on the address. Representative says 430. Remember, we got says it's 436. Maybe sign out from 446.
It's a complete building. The address is actually 436. There's other tenants within the facility.
Any other comments or questions from other members of council? Bonnie, I can't see you, so if you have questions, just chime in back.
yeah, no, I don't have any questions.
Here you see none, Mrs. Frank on the motion, please.
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes.
Mrs. Katz.
Yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much, Mr. Nara. We'll move to item 13, certificates of appropriateness for HARB. We've got two items. The first item at 508 West 4th Street, replacing the entire roof. And item 2 at 600 West 4th Street, they're painting the building exterior a different color. Is there a motion or a second?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. These questions or comments? I know Mr. Benny is here to support this. If there are any questions, all right. Here you see none. Mrs. Frank on the motion for item 13.
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes.
Mrs. Katz.
yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. We're going to jump back up to item number 5. Appointment for the Civil Service Board, Mr. Michael Orwell, a term from today ending January 6, 2025. I'll get it right at some point. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Chief Tyler Dean, sir.
Good evening, Council President, Council members. I'm requesting the appointment of retired Williamsport Police Officer Michael already has an alternate member on the Civil Service Board. As you know, there's two alternates. Mr. Overby has recently expressed his interest in serving as a volunteer board member. A little background on Mr. Overby, on his education experience. He was born and raised in the city of Williamsport, where he currently resides. He's a graduate of Williamsport Area High School. He served 4 years active duty in the United States Marine Corps right out of high school. Served an additional 18 years, about 18 years in the Indian National Guard from roughly about 2001 to 2019. He has a total of about 22 years of honorable military service. He served 2 combat force deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan, and part of 2019 at the Navy Sergeant First Class. He possesses almost 35 years of law enforcement experience. He served 30 years with the Williamsport Bureau of Police before retiring in 2016. He has served as a patrolman, a dare officer, a corporal, sergeant, captain of the patrol division, special response team operator, special response team assistant team leader, and special response team commander. He's currently employed part-time with the Lycoming County Sheriff's Department, holding the rank of sergeant. So I'll open the floor for questions.
Thank you, Chief Snyder. I'll open the floor for questions. I will just say that I know Mr. Rowley, fortunately, he lives in my neighborhood. He's, I mean, his resume that you just outlined speaks for itself, but knowing him a little bit personally, he's a man of character and just a good individual. He's a good definition of a public safety, public servant. He will, I think, be a very good judge of character for the commission, should he be needed, and I'm glad to see this. This is a great.
Yes, I had the privilege to serve under him, and he was the first person I called up.
Yeah, absolutely. Any comments or questions from other members of council?
I have a comment.
Go ahead, Bonnie.
All I have to say is it's good to have Michael Orwick back again. It's like you said, Adam, he's a man of integrity. I mean, he puts his heart and soul into everything that he does, and I think this is a wonderful choice.
Thank you, Mr. Allison.
Just having, 6 years. We've led up to some time. That's a number. That's a great addition. Somebody in the house that understands what we're all about.
Absolutely. Any other comments or questions, Mr. Pelisi?
I'll just keep it short. I'm extremely happy to see his name come across for this. I can't say enough great things about him. I don't know a single person now that would say anything bad about this man. So very happy to see it.
Questions? Excuse me. All right, hearing seen none, Mrs. Frank on the appointment, please.
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mr. Bider,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion to appoint passes 6-0, and I'll just publicly say thank you, Mr. Orley. We're looking forward to your service and are very much appreciative of it. So, Chief Snyder, thank you very much as well. All right, move to item 6, Mrs. Frank. If you would read that, please.
Resolution assigning appraisal services for the City Hall building and property to Don Paul Shearer Associates.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. I will welcome John Sanders. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I believe Don Paul, Zoom call, if I'm not mistaken, Don, are you there? By chance?
Yeah, I can see.
All right, so anyway, this is a resolution discussing finance on Tuesday given the positive recommendations. This is a resolution to hire Don Paul Shearer Associates to appraise the City Hall building in its entirety for the rental of $5,000. Tina, Don, and Kid will take roughly 2 months, given the immensity of the building itself and condition. Behind the paperwork, you have a short-term contract of Mr. Shearer, and I think he's on the call. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Sander. This was reviewed in finance, Randy. I'll review. In his absence, if you would be surprised to summarize the discussion on finance.
Sure. The dollar amount not very much what the other one was. So we focused on scope of the work. We had a few questions about that. One particularly that I had was the fifth bullet point down, the research necessary to develop a value. And we talked about that a little bit. And what exactly that meant? Did that take in scope of rebuilding with on material now, or so perhaps I should hear that.
Mr. Shearer, yeah. Now, Don, are you on the call and able to speak by chance? Or? If you are, you're muted.
No, he has a speaker.
I can barely hear you. I'm sorry. You're kind of like in a tunnel, but I can probably, I hear Miss Katz when she's spreading.
Don, I think you and I are in the same boat. It's very difficult to hear the rest of council. So
Yes,
you and
it's
I can
strange.
have a conversation, Don.
Don, am I loud right now for you, or
I'm sorry.
am I clear enough for you right now, or?
Well, it's very muffled. I'm sure she's getting the same message, but we'll try to work with it.
Thank you. The question was in regards to the complexity of the assignment as it relates to the condition of the building.
Yeah. Don, one question is the bullet point that says research necessary to develop a credible opinion of value. Did you hear that?
Maybe Miss Katz could replay whatever you're saying.
Hey, Don, I believe what Mr. Allison's trying to allude to is, will you be taking in the condition of the building in your appraisal value or a process?
Don, I think they're wanting to know what the process is. Am I correct in asking that question?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm sure you're familiar with real estate appraisals, particularly a unique property like this. First thing would be to inspection of the property. Was in the building years ago, but to do a thorough inspection, get all the legal details of the property, and then begin the search, which is going to be the most difficult thing of finding reasonable comparisons, sale comparisons to support the final opinion of value. Always difficult when you have historic properties, first of all, and then secondly, special purpose properties. Probably my most famous appraisal in Williamsport was the Park home, and that was really a challenge before Alan Earl bought it. So it just gives you some idea. Process is to find, and I wanted to be doing basically a statewide search to find sales of properties that were, as I said, special purpose. Municipal is always good. And then putting all that data together to come up with a credible, as in worthy of belief, in other words, final value of what reasonably the city could get if you did offer the property for sale.
Don, I'll ask a question, and I know it's very difficult with me being on Zoom. can you give a time process here? How long do you think? You know, I know that's, you know, it's asking a lot. I mean, because you do have a lot to research here. But is there any kind of time element that you could give us here?
Well, I gave, when John first contacted me, I said 2 months, and then I indicated that, of course, it is dependent upon getting data. This time of year makes it more difficult with people on vacation. You call sometimes municipalities, for example, that if they sold buildings. But I gave a reasonable time of 2 months, and I said if we can do it before, I have no advantage not to get it done as soon as possible, since it's a contract basis. So I would say at least a month. That was 4 weeks to 8 weeks maximum.
Fantastic. I don't have any other questions, but maybe I can help you guys if Don can't hear you correctly.
Thank you, Lonnie, and thank you, Mr. Allison. Is there anything else to add from finance?
Just wanted to add one thing. Don had about a 10-page bio of properties he's appraised and sold throughout the Commonwealth of PA. Is that correct, Don? You've done quite a bit of work throughout the entire state, mostly centered around the Harrisburg, Camp Hill area.
Don, I don't think you heard them.
No.
In the resume, that's correct. Yeah. No, there was some discussion about his resume. It's very impressive. He's very qualified, 100%. And I feel confident he'll do a very, very good job. So to your point, John, absolutely. So just a couple of questions for me. So just to clarify, this is to simply appraise the building. This is not to liquidate the building, correct?
That's correct. This is just to get an appraisal value to look at the next step, whatever that may be.
And then I guess the final question is, in my mind, I'm anxious to see what the results are. I think regardless of what we do, it's not a bad idea to have an updated appraisal of this. It actually may not be a bad idea to do this with a lot of the city property in general. I don't know when the last time that was done. I'm assuming it's been a while. I know we're going through our process to do our city audit for general fund and a couple other things. That might be useful information for them as they're updating our balance sheet and what have you. So I don't know. That might be something we're looking at observation. The other thing too, is this the last piece of information you're that's hanging out there for your updated recommendation of whether we're staying or whether we're going?
I would say so. I mean, okay. Not quite to that point yet, but we're close.
Okay. If this is the last piece of information, I guess look forward to. I mean, it's July 7th now. Based on the timeline, it's 2 months, so I mean, I guess it's into September. I hope that we can get an updated recommendation in September when this is complete. There's a lot of information that we've already gone through as a group that is valid, accurate. You know, I know that you were working with, I think, before Mr. Girardi left, working on updating some of that. I'm anxious to see that. I think we need to put this issue to rest once and for all yet again. So I'm hoping we can see that in September.
Yes, sir.
Especially before we get into budget time. Knowing what's going to happen with that, we can hopefully plan accordingly in our budget one way or the other. Any other comments or questions from other members?
Adam, I do. The question that I would have, and this is for John Sanders, since we're giving almost a 2-month timeline here with the appraisal, John, if you could have all of your, I know you've given some of the accounting of what's going, your numbers, okay, and I think we should also find out from the codes office what their numbers were also. So again, we asked for all of this quite a while ago. So I think, 2 months is a good timeline to find out the rest of the information that we can all look at this intelligently and say, okay, this is where we really stand with everything. To me, that's what I'm looking at anyhow.
Yeah, I actually have it now, but I'm not quite prepared to present that right this second, but actually, yeah, could. So we'll just hold off for a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Sander. Any other comments or questions from other members? Hearing see none, Mrs. Frank on the motion, please.
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mr. Bider,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Item 7, Mrs. Frank.
Resolution awarding final design services began at planning for the Brandon Park Bandshell.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Sander, I'll turn it over to you again.
Yes, good evening again, everybody. So this was also discussed in Food and Finance, we were part of the representation. About a month or so ago, myself, I was up here and again, Vice President again was on the call for final design services for the Bandshell project. After that was tabled that evening, I got in contact with Mr. Snyder from Gannett and the updated proposal to include full final design, everything needed for final design, including that this was executed and approved tonight, the cost estimate of where they're at now, also a cost estimate again of final design, and also included in was the full bidding of the project by Gannett for a grand total of $47,100. They finally will still be the first community foundation partnership today. This is pretty similar to a month ago, with the exception of now we'll have target values to the project will cost and pay out the contract. So it's full service. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Sander. This was reviewed in finance. Mr. Allison, do you mind providing some details of that conversation?
Yes, we did.
Hopefully, it'll be less than 2 weeks. We shall see.
In any case,
Just
we're storing stuff in here. Yes, we talked about a variety of things that were in here before as well. Due to a couple things, for instance, the analysis and design of the wheelchair lift, that we're going to have that, but we won't know the dollar cost until that's all developed. So, in light of those kinds of things and other things that may be run into the project, we talked about the budget, the overall budget that we create for this is we're going to need some kind of contingency fund in there, some amount to account for extra things that may come up. There was some discussion of that part about the actual final cost of bringing this to fruition, how much money that might take. I don't want to speak for the city engineer, Mr. Stanford, but he referenced possibility of using ARPA funds to supplement that. So there's all kinds of give and take on the project as a whole. I know that Councilman Bider got a chance to go out and look at the scope of the wheelchair project and what all that entails. We also talked about the humidity problems there. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Bider to address those things.
Sure. I was able to take a field trip with Mr. Sanders out there yesterday morning. A structure that I drive by probably once or twice a week. You don't really notice it too much until you get up close to it and you see the deterioration that it has gone through over the past few years just from neglect. You've got some structural issues on the ceiling that it's starting to collapse through. As you open up the door, the first thing you're greeted with at the basement level is just the foul stench of the stale air. When you walk in, there's mold, you can see stains on the floor from standing water. So this is a very, very important project to protect yet another very unique structure within the city of Williamsport. The fact that we've got the First Community Foundation partnership on board to help us with these costs is phenomenal. And to go back to the ventilation system that was talked about there at the handicap ramp specifically, without the ventilation system, we're going to continue to have these structural problems again and again because of the issues that you're going to have with a building that does get very limited use on the inside. My hope is that when this project does get started and then finally completed, that the city can utilize the structure a lot more than it does for a lot of other functions and get the community more involved because it's a great space. And hopefully, as we look at that in conjunction with the baseball parks at Brandon Park, that we're going to have designs on here very soon, I would hope. We're going to have a really nice area for the community to focus on. Here.
We actually just got the plans from Peters and Lindsberg, and about 80% done. They're wrapping them up and ready to go now. So it's in good shape.
Good. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allison, anything else?
Just final amount is 47,400, which was higher than the initial amount that we had, but we asked for it, so that's what brought that cost up. Brings down to 30,750 for the final design, 12,600 for the wheelchair lift design. That's just the design, not the project itself. And the bidding phase, which don't participate in, is $40,000 and $4,050. That total is $7,500. That's the full body of council recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Allison. Thank you, Mr. Myers, as well. Any comments or questions from the council on this item? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, Mrs. Frank on motion, please.
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mr. Biden,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Singer.
Thank you.
Move to item 8, Mrs. Frank.
Resolution to purchase microphones equipment for Williamsport City Council.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Mr. Black.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good, everybody.
I'm doing all right. We have before you is a resolution to purchase a dozen new microphones to replace what's sitting in front of you right now, which are at least 6 to 8 years old. What I'm able to find out. The amount that I'm looking for currently is approximately $650. It's all contingent on availability.
Thank you, Mr. Black. Ready to discuss the finance, if you would.
It was, but I vote yes right now. Yeah, we did discuss in finance. In fact, I had a pre-finance meeting discussion with Mr. Black about these particular microphones, what a good price they were and how they compare to other products. And perhaps you could address that as far as the short.
Yeah, the replacements for the microphones that you have in front of you, I just saw that they were approximately $350 a piece. Where these ones are coming in $55 each. Even if we get 2 years out of them, we're still spending 1/10 the price of what these ones cost. and that it will be in working condition. Which would be nice.
So, to the extent of that conversation, and we passed it to full by the council with a positive recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Allison. Yeah, over the past, I think, couple of weeks, I've gotten a handful of emails, and we've talked about the audio issues on the live stream, and then hopefully this begins to address it. So by looking at this, it looks like, again, you said by availability, certainly, at least on the printout from Amazon, it looks like we could have them in the next couple of weeks, maybe by the council meeting. It may address the issue, it may not. I know that we've also talked about another,
Yeah, this would definitely get rid of the top
yeah,
that, you know, when we move the crackle and so forth, at least alleviate all of that.
yeah. So there's a couple of things that we're looking at to address that as well. It's a little more just for line, but I would say in the event that they're not in, we can use some other mics in 2 weeks in the interim. So moving forward.
And if allowed, I could shop around, not necessarily just Amazon, but also other vendors that might have it as well.
Yeah, I think the way that this is worded, you can do that. They purchase 12 microphones from Amazon, not to exceed 650. So I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to do that and you potentially spend some time on it, it's pretty cost effective. And, you know, we meet the need if you want to do that. By all means, go for it.
We did discuss about amending this. To take Amazon.
Should we do that more?
If he's able to find them at a different.
If he finds a different one, it's this one or similar.
It would be the same product, just
Yeah,
different
same.
vendor.
Yeah, that's why I say similar thing.
So we should,
Similar product.
should we eliminate the vendor? Okay. I'll make a motion to eliminate.
Oh, I have a question, Adam.
Yep.
Being on this end of it, and I think if I've heard correctly, I know other people have said this, that it's very difficult for them to hear what's being said during the meetings. With the new microphones, are they going to be, are they going to be clearer? Are people going to be able to hear what's going on at this point? Because I'm going to tell you, sitting on this end, it's very difficult for me to hear everything that's being said by everyone. And in fact, I've gotten a couple of texts this evening from people stating that they really can't hear what's being stated during the council meetings. So I guess, Chris, what I'm asking, is this going to be an improvement?
It will be an improvement. I doubt it's going to be a cure-all. But it's a good first step.
It's the first step. So there are other things that will have to be done in order for clarity during the meetings then.
Very possibly, yes.
Okay. And what kind of expense do you think that'll be to bring our council meetings up to where people can look at this and listen and not have to sit there and strain their ears to figure out what's being said and how it's being said? Would you have any way of knowing what kind of cost factors would be in that?
My original proposal was about $1,300 all told. Now, that was put together maybe a month ago. We sent that to Mr. Yoder. And, but again, market fluctuates so much anymore. Some of those items might be the same price, it might be less, they might be $100 more.
Okay. I think a lot of people will be looking forward to having better clarity with what goes on in our meetings. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from any other members of council? Here you see none, Mr. Luker, would you call the roll, please, in Mrs. Frank's absence? Oh, I'm sorry, we forgot this. I'll make a motion to amend to eliminate from Amazon. Second. Motion and a second. Any comments or questions on the motion to amend? No. Mr. Luker on the motion to amend, please. Thanks for the reminder.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
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 Snyder.
Yes.
Sealy.
Yes.
Katz.
yes,
Yes, motion to amend 7-0. Any other final comments or questions on the resolution itself? All right, here you see, Mrs. Frank is back, if you can call the roll on the final resolution.
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi.
Yes.
Mr. Bider.
Yes.
Ms. Mealy. Yes. Mrs. Katz.
yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Move to item 9, Mrs. Frank.
Resolution grant franchise agreement between the City of Williamsport and Comcast of Southeast LLC.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second, Mr. Black.
Good evening again. We have before you is a resolution for a franchise agreement between the city of Williamsport and Comcast. This is basically a renewal of existing agreements, a little bit updated. From what I've been able to find, it was last approved somewhere between 2008, 2005, and 2008. And they kind of like that about every 5 years possible. This just allows them to come in and we can move money back from it.
Thank you, Mr. Black. Ms. Mealy, this was the review finance.
Yeah, because I was possibly I really remember if it's through the red body. Several years ago now, we had discussions about increasing the franchise fee. We were at 3% mark. We had discussions about increasing it to 5%. So obviously increasing local revenue. And then that apparently stalled when our last IT director departed, our IT departed, so Mr. Black has restarted that process, and we have the agreement before us. It should resolve in it's 40 or 50 more revenue, I think, out of the agreement on an annual basis, which is a chunk change. And of course, it's simply also just a housekeeping element. I believe Mr. Black said the other major changes is that the RDT owned properties have been excised from the agreement, but otherwise it's
Back on the old agreement, the previous agreement, there wasn't even RBT yet, it was still Williamsport City Bus.
Nice.
so it's good around things. And that finance has to hold on the council positive recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Mealy. Are there any other comments or questions? Mr. Allison.
One item of interest, 5%. 5% on the television package. Streaming is not included.
That is correct.
The internet is not included. 5% on the gross of the television package only. So there's a lot of money giving them this franchise that we don't have access to. They're making on its facility. But in any case, just so people have a good perspective on exactly what the way the federal law is written, we don't have another option. Change that.
Thank you, Mr. Appleson. Any other comments or questions from other members? Seeing none, Mrs. Frank on the motion, please.
Mr. Allison.
Yes.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mr. Bider,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Black, appreciate it. We'll move down to item 14, filing. We have Williamsport water and sanitary minutes from May 25th, 2022, the control report from April 2022, the finance committee meeting minutes from May 24th, 2022. Is there a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any comments, questions, or items of discussion for the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, Mrs. Frank on the motion, please.
Mr. Allison,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mr. Bider,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
yes,
Mr. Yoder.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Item 15, announcements. Our next regularly scheduled council meeting will be on Thursday, July 21st, right here at 7 p.m. Upcoming meetings on Monday, July 11th at 4 p.m. is our Recreation Commission. Wednesday, July 13th at 3:30 is our O&E pension. Tuesday, July 19th, 11:30 a.m. is Public Safety, 12 p.m. Planning Commission, 1 p.m. Finance Committee, 2:30 p.m. Public Works, 4 p.m. Transit Oversight Committee. Wednesday, July 20th, 9 a.m. is our Economic Revitalization Committee. Thursday, July 21st, 10:30 a.m. is Zoning Hearing Board, and also at 7 p.m. our City Council meeting. Are there any comments from members of the City Council? I would just say something. So there was a leadership transition at Penn College last week, and I just wanted to offer my well wishes and thanks to Dr. Gilmore, who's departing. I'm fortunate to be along on this, an employee there, and also a stakeholder and leader in the community. And she's been a great example of leadership in this community in a number of different ways over the 24 years that she was president of the institution, but in the other capacities that she served before. And she's been at the institution, I think, for 40+ years. I was fortunate to learn a lot from her as a student. She's been a model, I think, for a lot of us. And I just wanted to thank her and wish her well in her retirement, her well-deserved retirement, that is. And also offer my congratulations and excitement for Dr. Reed, who took over the helm at Penn College. For all the same reasons, I'm excited to see what he's going to do, where he's going to take the institution, and the impact he's going to have on the community as well. So best wishes to both of them, and a lot of excitement, I think, for that end of town and for that campus. So any other comments from the members of council? Mr. Mackey.
Thank you. I just want to thank, I guess, first and foremost, thank Backyard Broadcasting for putting on a great celebration on Monday. And included with that, I want to just make sure we thank everybody that was involved in that whole process. And that would be the Williamsport Fire Department, Williamsport Bureau of Police, EMS, paramedics. The Lycoming County Sheriffs, I believe, were there. We had volunteers from Oil Stock, Streets and Parks. I mean, just it was a massive effort to make that happen and to keep everybody safe. And it was a really great day. So I want to just make sure that we thank everybody that was involved in that.
Added to that, our city clerk.
And GMs.
A lot of work behind the scenes to account for all the connections together that everyone that forms.
Absolutely. Any other comments from other members of council? Any comments from members of the administration this evening? You're here. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, any comments from the news media?